What's going on, everybody? So the New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has been suspended 4 games without pay in relation to the Deflategate incident with the team. What is that? The championship game against the Colts, which in my opinion wasn't really a championship game. Pretty much the Colts were just there as a scrimmage and they got their ass whipped. I'm gonna go ahead and just basically say this though. You know, a lot of the things that people do, it contributes to what people think of you as you go on in life, just in general. The problem with the way that this is turning out, though, I don't know if it could have gone any other way, because the simple fact of the way that Tom Brady, when he had that he had to go to that college or something and he was scheduled to be there and they asked him about it. Who was that? Jim Gray asked him about it, and just the way his face looked, he just looked really, really fake. And up until that point, you know, I was like, listen, man, there's a lot of haters out there, like these Tim Hasselbacks and all these other guys running their mouth, you know, guys that never won anything and making it seem as if he always played like that, which is very, very, you could say he was doing it and that they waited and they set him up, because the way it looks to me is if he was set up by, by the NFL and whoever. I just think it's a conspiracy that, okay, why would all this stuff be happening for this one particular game and then they would know not to do it for the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? I know it was raining and it gives you a better, grip on the ball and stuff like that. So you would have to go back and look at any time that Tom Brady played in bad weather and see if he possibly did that. Now, I don't believe that this takes away anything from him as far as being a great quarterback. Probably, for this over the last decade, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. The best quarterback in the NFL. I know a lot of people give Aaron Rodgers credit, but I think Tom Brady, as far as dicing up a defense, you got to give him credit, especially from where they started with a guy named, what was his name, Branch, like Bums, and then he went from that. They lost to the Giants when he had Randy Moss, when they went 18-0, that situation. But pretty much, I'm just gonna say this though. I don't know if this was basically because of the the court of public opinion, or if Roger Goodell just believed he had to do something because Ray Rice, he was too light on the Ray Rice incident. Because it just looks like to me it just looks like a little bit too much. And people, they brought up a lot of things about the charges with the sticky towels and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if all this happens if it's not so much attention brought to it and everybody in the court of public opinion is saying that he should be suspended. I just don't know. Is it a scapegoat way to say something else? Listen, I'm just of the mindset that it's no way that Tom Brady consistently played with deflated footballs. Do the Patriots have a history of, cheating according to Spygate and stuff like that, recording people's stuff, knowing the plays? That's all possible, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about a quarterback that was able to do things that, like, look, man, the guy was able to make reads and do things that people didn't think was possible with the staff that he started off with. It kind of reminded me of Donovan McNabb when he was playing with guys like, what was his name? Thrash. I thought he was trash. Like, he was playing with a lot of no-name receivers to start off everything when he was winning Super Bowls initially. And I give him a lot of credit for that. There was never a situation where it was big-time guys on offense when it first started. So whatever the system that Bill Belichick was using, whether he was cheating or whatever like that, I'm pretty sure that he stayed within the confine of the rules. But again, after Spygate, it just seems like they were blatantly recording everything. Like, yo, bro, you went to the bathroom? All right. It looked like they made it seem like this guy was recording everything. And a lot of people still say that they were. So the Patriots do have a lot of things that surround them as far as, cheating, whatever, breaking the rules, whatever like that. I understand that. But it just seems to me like suspending Tom Brady, I just think it's a little bit more to it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if it's all about the deflated footballs as opposed to if there's some kind of thing about maybe trying to, tarnish his reputation. And again, I'm not a fan of the New England Patriots. I'm a New Yorker. Like I said, I don't really care about what Boston does. I'm talking about just for the simple fact that, based on precedent, I understand that you had to do something because he's a known name figure as a quarterback. I understand all that. But for people that have usually broken the rules along the same type of guidelines where, you know, the sticky towels, you know, whatever, the pumping noises to the crowd, all that kind of stuff. You know, the Falcons did that, whatever. A lot of these things didn't end so, you know, so drastically. I understand that they lost a draft pick for the pumping the crowd noise. I understand that. But they're fined $1 million, which is the largest in NFL history. You're losing a first-round pick and a fourth-round pick, and you're suspending Tom Brady for deflating a football that the refs were holding and couldn't tell that it was deflated. And I understand about the grip situation and stuff like that. But if it was, you can't, of course, let's just be realistic. You can't really throw a football that's really that deflated. So I'm pretty sure that the grip of the ball within the PSI range that, you know, like I said, that I read about and what's recommended, I can understand if that gives you an advantage. But again, you're talking about a championship game and referees that are paid to protect the integrity of the game. So I just have a problem with the fact that everybody is so adamant about making an excuse for the vicious ass whooping that the Colts took. And again, before everybody say, "Oh no, it's not about that. It's just the fact that he cheated," I understand that as well. If the game was closer, I could understand it. If it was 10 points, you know, a field goal, I still believe the Panthers got robbed in that Super Bowl when they played the Patriots. I still believe that Tuck rule was bullshit. But these things are not Tom Brady's fault. And at some point, we have to make the people that are paid by the league accountable. And if that's something they're supposed to be doing to make sure that it's not happening, why was it happening in the first place? And when you don't check something regular and then teams find a way to use a loophole with it, how are they comparing this to PED use? And how are you going to take away the fact that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer with his body of work? It's just, I don't know, you know, it's complicated to me to understand the fact of what he has done for the league and what the league is doing for themselves to protect their own shield. It just seems like a very contradictory thing. And I haven't heard one thing about the refs. Like, refs, what are you guys doing? If you're holding the ball every play, you know, after every play, every down, and you're setting the ball and you're squeezing it, they always squeeze the ball. The refs are always doing that. You know, like they're experts with playing with the balls. Why couldn't you tell us something was going on? You don't got to be a scientist. If it's that much of a decrease or whatever like that, it had to be subtle. That's all I'm saying. It had to be subtle. And then you go to the Super Bowl where all the balls were fine, and you beat the Seattle Seahawks, which had a very, very unbelievable defense, in my opinion. And yet still people are worried about a 45-7 blowout that the Colts took. And again, if it's for the integrity of the game, I understand. But I just think that, I just think that Roger Goodell was trying to make up for the fact that he didn't do the right thing by Ray Rice. And it was like a shit stain on his face, and he had to fix it and show that he's a no-nonsense guy. And I think that he's using Tom Brady as a scapegoat in the situation. I don't believe anything, you know, as far as what everybody else is saying, yeah, he deserves the 4 games. I don't give a shit either way. I'm not a Patriot fan. I don't care. I'm just going about with the information that's provided and what they're trying to come down on them with. Because if this was another team, it would have just been a regular, what was it, $25,000 fine or whatever it is, whatever mediocre thing it is. Because if this was such an important thing that can cost you $1 million in fines, which, you know, Robert Kraft is laughing at that. He don't give a shit. He carries that shit in his sock. The draft picks, though, that's crazy. And then you're gonna find, you know, if you want to suspend Tom Brady, okay, fine. You're taking draft picks and you're fining them $1 million for an infraction that, if you look at the rule book, is not really that major based on the fine that they give, which is probably the reason why they utilized it the way they did, because they figured, okay, it'll only be a $25,000 fine, not all of this. And that's where I draw the line as far as my opinion based on, you know, what's considered fair. Now, if you're a player and you feel that the Patriots cheat and they've always been cheating and that's the image that you have of them, that's different. But as far as us, as looking from the outside in, just watching the games and not really understanding what goes on inside the locker rooms, what goes on inside the practices, this is a bit harsh. Because when they were talking about this, when all these guys were talking about this long suspension, I would never imagine that they would actually do all of these things for, you know, an infraction that was such a low-level infraction when you look at the other things. To up it to this level, it just seems like it's a lot more involved. And you know, you suspend them for 4 games. I just don't know. And then with the Wells report, I understand the way lawyers write, but there was no real concrete evidence presented to, you know, to the public. Similar to Spygate, when Roger Goodell just pretty much, you know, destroyed it. He just destroyed all the evidence and said, look, I'm giving him this. And that was it. It's just I don't know. I really just don't know if all of this was necessary in regards to what the infraction was and based on what the rule is, which is a fine of $25,000. And it just seems, and like I said, I'm going by what what I believe I read. I believe it was like a low-level fine of $25,000. But I know even if it's a little bit higher, it wasn't anything like $1 million and crazy shit like that, because they wouldn't put themselves in a position to have to deal with all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, Bill Belichick works very, very smart. And this is unlike him to put himself in a position where this penalty would be at such a harsh level. And it just seems like too much. And I don't know if Tom Brady will appeal it. Because if you appeal it, you know, I get he made his dad speak for him. He hasn't really done anything. So to appeal it now, it just seems pretty tedious right now at this point. I don't know if it makes sense to actually appeal it, because he never said anything defending himself. So to appeal it would show more cowardice, in my opinion, and it would just validate the fact that he's a cheater. You know what I'm saying? If now you're gonna appeal, but you didn't say anything, your dad was speaking for you, all this shit like that. It just, I don't know. But it's very complicated with the way that they handled it and the information that was provided to the public. And at the end of the day, it was a 45-7 ass whipping. So I don't give a fuck if there was no air at all in the ball. The Colts got their ass whipped. And, you know, they snitched, or whoever snitched, or whatever like that. And this is the outcome. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, and I'm speaking just, you know, just general, no bias with anybody. I don't have a favorite NFL team. I just watch it. I enjoy the sport. I don't believe that this affects Tom Brady's legacy, because everybody likes the football a certain way, and a lot of quarterbacks have done this. He's not the first guy to do this, regardless of what everybody's trying to make everybody think. He's not the first quarterback to do this. And I just believe that he caught the short end of the stick on this based on the history of the franchise. And that's pretty much what it is. I'd like to know what you guys think. Did he deserve all of this stuff? Did the Patriots, even if you hate the Patriots, even if you're a Jets fan, whatever, even if you're a Raiders fan and you're still going back to the Tuck rule, did they deserve this? Did the franchise deserve what they're getting for this particular infraction? Spygate, I understand. You could throw the book at them. But this in particular, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts. Until next time, one love.